Hello and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. On this show, I help members of the public to get the very best price for their antiques and collectibles. You all get a choice. Sit down with one of our regular dealers and they're going to try and tempt you with a cash offer on the table today.
£150, nearly double my original offer. That's a deal.
You can't go another 10?
If you don't think that offer is good enough, reject it. Have a gamble, be brave, come with David to the auction, and hopefully I will get you a little bit more money there.
20's my far left, 950.
Today the show comes to you from Ilford in Essex. There's a great crowd of people. They've come here for one reason. They want to sit down with those dealers. They want to tackle them. They want to take them on. They want to walk away with the real deal.
First to see Jan Keane is Pat, and if you think her item's a photo frame, you're wrong. It's a brooch. What are you thinking, girls?
I didn't think it was very valuable because it wasn't marked, and I paid £10, but that was 15 years ago. I'd like £150 to £200.
Lovely surrounds, obviously gold. I've got to try and buy this. And would you like to tell me about this fine brooch you bought in today?
Well, I really don't know much about it. Bought it with several other items in a boot fair.
Right.
I didn't think it was very valuable because it's not marked.
Well, when I've first taken a look at it, I feel the actual surround is more interesting than what's inside, but it is in fact a daguerreotype, which was a photographic process somehow relayed onto metal. I mean, he's quite a stern-looking man. I don't think you'd really want him sitting on your mantelpiece.
I think all Victorian men had their photographs taken.
Well,
they
they did, and you can just see a little Albert chain there that he's wearing. I mean, it's it is a fine photograph, but I think that what's more interesting is a surround, which I thought probably was rose gold, and either 9 or I understand it to be 14 carats.
Right, yes.
So I've really got to think now how much money to put down. Have you got any ideas what you want for it? But you're not going to tell me. I'm not going to try and tempt it out of you. Let's put down 50 and £100 straight down on the table. No. Am I miles away?
I think so.
So if I make it 150, what do you think of that? Right, Pat, so here we go, 200.
Pat,
Here
don't
comes
answer
David.
that.
Give us a hand.
I think what we've got there is one of the smartest daguerreotypes that I've ever seen. One can only presume this was a man of substance, of trade, of importance, a politician. I just don't know. I can tell you that that's a realistic offer in regard to our independent valuers. They are between 150 and 250. But I have a feeling they are a little bit on the low side. So I'm going to leave you, try and tempt her, because I think
David,
that is a great lot. I think that's something which is quite important.
What I'm willing to do, Pat, is put down 220 and say 230. What do you think of that?
I don't think that's an offer I can't refuse, really.
I think at the end of the day, she's going to offer you 250. So the question is, do you deal at 250? There is a chance at auction, but it can misfire. But I'm saying to Jan, don't lose it for 20 quid, because even at 250 quid, I think that is a great lot.
Well, there we are. And David knows me, and he's quite right. I won't lose it for £20. So I'm going to take those two away, and I'm going to make it around 250. So then, Pat, what do you think? Do we have a deal?
I think so. I think that's an offer I can't refuse.
Well, that's lovely.
Much.
So I have myself a brooch.
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Well done, Pat. You made a £240 profit on what you paid for it. Next, we're with Michael Hogburn.
This is a 17th century oil painting on canvas, obviously a copy of an old master. I quite like it. Will I buy it? We'll have to wait and see.
Ooh, Hoggy, you tease. Luckily, Seller Brian's got you figured out.
Yeah, I've seen Oggy on TV. I think you need to haggle with him to get the best price. And hopefully that's what we'll get today.
Good luck haggling, Brian.
This is a very interesting oil painting. 17th century style or 17th century?
Well, I had it valued at Sotheby's about 30 years ago.
Right.
And they said it was painted in the 17th century. And this was apparently on the ceiling or on the wall of a cathedral in Portugal or Spain.
I mean, we both know it's a copy of that painting.
Yeah.
It's not by the hand of the
No,
artist.
it's in the style of.
In the style of, yeah.
Yeah.
It means it's a copy,
Yeah.
really. It's a very interesting painting. Do you know what it's called?
I'm told it's called The Healing of the Wrathful Sun.
Hence the man repairing someone's foot
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the religious undertones to
Yes.
it, really. Some parts of it are better than others.
That's right.
You know, like the face on this lady is not as good as the face on this man.
No.
Why are you selling it?
It's been under the bed for about 15 years.
Yeah.
It's a bit old-fashioned.
Yeah, I suppose it is old-fashioned, really, isn't it? Well, I'll get some money out, Brian, and see where we can go with it, really. I don't know what to pay for this. I'll have a gamble at 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. No. What did Sotheby's value it at all those years ago?
Do you really want to know?
I'd love to know.
£1,000.
Wow. Let's go a little bit further. 160, how does that sound? 180. Final tempter, 200.
250 or I'll go to auction.
220. Come on, deal it to Brian,
No.
come on, let's deal.
No, 250 and I'll do it.
If you got 250 at auction, you'd end up with
I
210.
appreciate that, but I reckon I'd get more at auction.
Dear.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to let you take that gamble.
Okay,
And I think it's worthy of the gamble, I'll be honest with
Yeah, I
you.
think so.
Yeah, I wish you luck, Brian. Been
Thanks
nice to
very
meet
much.
you as well.
And you, Michael.
Sorry we couldn't deal.
No. We're looking forward to the auction and hopefully we'll get a better price as the money is going to my daughter who's recently moved home.
If you're up for a gamble, Brian, let's join the Duke in the sale room where it's about to go under the gavel of auctioneer William Rouse.
The independent valuers on the auction all say £200 to £300. Now, you must have been a bit disappointed with that estimation.
I was disappointed with the estimation, but the reason I went to auction was it was valued in 1985 when the internet probably wasn't up, and I thought bringing it to auction, it would see a lot more people see.
Well, let's see what happens, because often we've heard of people coming along and they've had valuations from various sources and they don't always stack up, and that's why I'm saying once you come here, the room will decide. The bidding is opening now. Let's see what happens. The reserve is £250. Is it going to make it? Let's find out.
Start nice and low, 150 to start. 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. With me at 200, 210, 220.
They're bidding at it. A couple of dealers over that side of the room, £250.
At 250 in the room. Anybody else then? To my left at 250. Are you all done and finished? I'm going to sell it for £250. 250.
Now, the gavel has gone down at £250, which is good news, but once we take off the commission, that's going to leave £205. What's your feelings now? What's your thoughts? You must be disappointed, I suppose.
No, not really. At least now I know what the painting is probably
Yes.
valued at. That was the reason for coming to auction.
Well, I think that is the best reason to come to auction. It was worth a gamble. You're going home with £205. I'm going to award the real deal to the Cockney character, Michael Hogburn. Michael, you're starting to give good money for items. You've got the real deal.
Back in the den, and Cheryl Hakeney's got pound signs in her eyes.
Lots of gold, gold, gold that's wanted, wanted, wanted at the moment.
But how much does Claudia want for her treasure?
I would like an offer of £1,200.
Claudia, hello.
Well,
Pleased to
it's
meet
our
you. I'm
Yorkshire
Cheryl.
lovely versus a Costa Rican belle. Who'll win out?
Tell me what you know about them.
All I know is that my grandfather bought them a long time ago, maybe in the 40s, and they have been my family ever since. and they're so big and so huge that you cannot wear them outside. That's the only thing. Yeah.
It's like Medallion Man, isn't it? It's like huge. And this one is from Chile, is it, this coin? And where's this one from?
Austria.
So quite different parts of the world. Where did your father buy them from? Do you know?
My grandfather.
Oh, your grandfather,
Yeah,
beg your pardon.
I really don't know, but my family comes from Costa Rica.
Okay.
So, well, where he got him, maybe in one of his trips, because he used to travel a lot. But exactly the place or the history, I don't know it.
Why are you thinking of selling them?
I recently got married, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I want to go on a trip with my husband.
Very nice. So it's a great thing to put the money towards. You've got something of great value here. I'm sure you've got an idea what you'd like.
A rough figure, well,
okay.
maybe.
Right, we'll get the cash out, Claudia. Let's go then. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, £500 for starters.
That's a little low. Can I have a little more?
Now, you've heard of the Great Train Robbery?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Great Gold Robbery. Because here you have nearly £1,400 worth of gold. So we need a lot of more money. Mucho pesos.
I'd only just had a little breather. I'm keeping going. So, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, 800. It's going to be a good honeymoon, this. 850, 900, 950, £1,000.
Can it be a little more?
Now we have some serious money. In gold alone, there is £1,340 worth there. We need some more money, otherwise we could get you more in the sale room.
Can we have more?
I think we can have a little bit more. So 1,050, 1,100.
Just a little more?
I want to buy this, and I want you to have a nice honeymoon. £1,200, Claudia. Have we got a deal?
Deal.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You're great to deal with. Thank you. I hope Claudia was happy. I hope she has a great honeymoon. I'm delighted with that deal.
I'm really happy to have gotten the £1,200 that I was expecting, because now I can plan something beautiful for me and my husband.
Oh, best of luck from all of us, Claudia. Coming up, a Victorian toy brings out David's inner child.
And that's what we're going to say for your offer.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Ilford and Essex. Over at Henry Nichol's table, Michael's gearing up to sell a Loli Jar that's a family heirloom.
I'd like to realise somewhere near a couple £100 for it, because I'm trying to raise the airfare to go to Australia to go to my son's wedding.
Well, a great reason to sell, but is Henry keen?
Very popular, very saleable, very collectible. I'm definitely going to have a go at buying that, definitely.
That's what we like to hear, Henry.
Well, good to see you.
Pleased to meet you.
What a lovely, lovely trinket pot by the great French glassmaker Loli.
Yeah.
How have you come to own this?
This belonged to my mother before she died.
Right.
And it was one of the pieces that I inherited.
I mean, I don't think it's tremendously old as such. It's fairly modern. I reckon the earliest it probably is 1970s, I would think. It's in really lovely condition, and we've got the mark Loli, France. Nice thing. The gilt metal here on the inside, a little bit worn in places, but other from that, it's in really, really good order. So I think what I need to do is get some money out and see if I can tempt you to part with it.
Okay.
How does that sound? 20, 40, 60, £80.
No, I was looking for more than that.
More than that? What,
Yeah.
a lot more than that?
Fair bit more than that.
I mean, if it was a piece dating to the 1920s, then I'd be putting 4 times that amount of money down on the table.
Yeah, I
but
understand.
because it's more modern, it doesn't quite hold the value. I like it enough to go a little bit further. 100, 120, 140, 150. £150, nearly double my original offer. That's a deal, surely.
You can't go another 10?
Michael, I'm not going to quibble over a tenner. 160.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. I should be sad to see it go, but at least I've got a bit of money now to go down to Australia to see my son and go to his wedding.
I'm really pleased to have bought the Lolique. I think it's worth 180, 190. That's what I reckon I'll get for it.
We'll see how you get on later, Henry. Hello, hello, hello. What have we got here then? Tracy's up next with a silver policeman rattle and teething ring.
I would like Cheryl to pay hundreds of pounds.
Did you pluck that figure out of the air, Tracy? The good news is Cheryl likes a man in uniform.
How did you come to own him?
I've had him a little while. He come from an auction, so a few years ago. He's just been sitting in the cupboard. Thought I'd bring him along.
And so did you just bid for him, or was he in a collection of other things?
He was in a collection of other things, but I quite liked him, so I thought I'd on to him.
He was silver and shaped as a policeman. Originally, these were very common in Victorian times, and there's a whole array of these teething rings and rattles, and he's got a little bell there. It does tinkle away. This normally would have been probably ivory or bone, and some of them had a mother of pearl handle, and the baby would chew here to relieve the teething. Now, I've had a look at the mark of your little policeman here, but he's not Victorian. He's quite modern. I don't know if you know that. He's 1984 and he has the stamp for Birmingham. If he'd been Victorian, he would have been worth 200, 250, something like that. So I'm preparing you.
It's all right.
Now, I'm going to put some money down, see what you think. A little short bid. £10.
That is short.
Okay. This is a little bit shorter. £15.
No.
No. So you don't like £15?
No.
Well, okay. See if you like 25. No.
No.
Go on, because I've just thought somebody I could sell this to. How about £30?
If you put another 10 on it, we'll have a deal.
I'm not going to put another 10.
Then I think David.
She's not going to put another 10. That means you and I, darling, we're off to the auction.
Auction. That's it.
And that's what we're going to say for your offer.
Well, sure.
Yep. I'm going to have a day at auction.
Well, very best of luck to you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I'm quite happy with my bid, but best of luck to her. I think she might need it.
Let's find out in the sale room where Tracy's joined by the Duke.
So coming up now, Tracy, is your rattle. You turned down £30 from Cheryl Hakeney. You said, no, I'm going to turn that down. I'm going out for a day with the Duke. Have you enjoyed your day?
I've had a lovely time, yes.
OK. We've had a great day, and we're here at the auction. Let's see what happens to the rattle.
Start me £20 for it. 20 unbid, 22, 25, 28, 30 on the table.
It's at £30 now. It's at the reserve.
£32 in the distance at 32, 35, 38. £38 standing at 38. You're all done. £38 it goes. 38.
£38. We've got a little bit of commission to take off that. Leaves you with £31.
Yep, brilliant.
Happy?
Yep, brilliant.
We're both happy. And that was the real deal.
Next up, Tanya's brought in something that's caught Hoggy's eye.
My next item is a Calamandal tea caddy. It's one of those things you either love it or you hate it. I love it.
It's been in our family for quite some time, but I don't really know too much history about it, and I'd quite like to find out, and I'm hoping that the dealer will be able to give me some more information and something very nice for it.
Here's hoping, Tanya.
What do you know about this one?
Actually, I don't know too much. It's been in my family for some time. It got damaged during the war. A bomb dropped on our house, and lots of goods got damaged that way. But other than that, that's all really I know. I don't remember it ever being used.
Tea caddies, in their own right, were very, very popular in the Victorian time when this was made. And if you think of tea coming over from China, it was one of those cherished things. Hence, we've got a lock on it. And then when we open it up, it's so well made. I mean, it's just beautifully made. We've got the Calamandal wood top on here. And each of these have got their little liners still intact, really. And so many of these boxes, which should come out, will come out. You know, so you put your valuable tea in there, that will get locked and it will keep it fresh. And that will go down like that and be locked up and safe because it was so valuable. It's a little bit tired, isn't it? In so much as we've lost one of these here. I mean, the brass needs re-lacquering, which would give it that nice sheen again. So all in all, it's just a nice mid-Victorian tea caddy. So why are you getting rid of it?
Actually, I'm trying to declutter all the stuff that I have in my house.
I like that word. Declutter covers a lot of things, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
So I'll go straight in with a £50 note.
Coming towards what I had in mind.
So 50's a no-go area. How does 60 sound, Tanya?
I have to say to you, I think what we've got there is the making of still a wonderful caddy. Now, caddies like this used to do really well. It's passed over a little bit, but I can tell you now, we have a 50 to 70, we have a 70 to 100, and we have a 150 to 200, and that's where it should be. In its day, that was an exotic bit of kit.
Thank you.
Where do I want to go? 60, 70, 80 to try and tempt you.
You can go to 100 and we'll have a deal.
No, I won't. No, I'm going to go 80, and it's on the table right now. It's £80. That's as far as I really want to go on it, to be honest with you.
All right. No, I think that's fair. We have a deal.
You sure?
Yes.
I'm really pleased. Thank you. I really like it. I don't know how much it's going to cost to get restored, and I really don't know if I'll make a profit or not on it. Have to wait and see.
Well, we'll find out at the end of the show, Hoggy. Also coming up, one seller's got her sights set on a trip to the Golden State.
What would you do with the money?
I haven't seen my nieces and they're in Los Angeles.
Wow,
To
how
go there for a
glamorous.
visit.
But will Cheryl dig deep and send her on her way?
Where have you been? Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
While the antiques and collectibles of Ilford are still pouring in, we're with Henry, who can barely contain his excitement.
I'm looking forward to these two tankers because one of them's got a Masonic connection, which is really popular. I think I'm going to go over the £100 for the two of them, see what I can do. Looking forward to this one. Hello, I'm Henry.
Good morning, my name's Alan.
Alan, good to see you. Silver tankard and a silver goblet.
Yes.
What can you tell me about them?
They were given to me by my late aunt. She's given me trinkets all over the years.
Okay.
Especially the goblet, that was given to her late husband, who was a Freemason, and it was given to him by the lodge.
Yeah. Well, that's the nicer piece out of the two, I have to say. I mean, if we look at the other tankard here, this one is assayed in Sheffield for 1923. Now, silver tankards are saleable until they start having inscriptions and engravings put on them. And this one, unfortunately, has got an engraving on it. However, this has also got engraving, but it's slightly better.
Right.
The reason being, it's got that Masonic connection.
Masonic connect, yeah.
So it's the Kynaston Stud Lodge, assayed in 1939 in London, and also we've got the date there as well, which is September the 23rd, 1939, so it's a presentation piece.
Yeah.
It's a very, very pretty goblet. Okay, what I like about it is the gadrooned foot that we've got there. Gives it a little bit more oomph, and it's something that is going to appeal to all the collectors. So I better get some money out and see if I can tempt you. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 150.
No.
What do you think?
No, I think they're worth more than that.
You think they're worth more than that? What, a lot more?
A fair amount more, but...
A fair amount more. I mean, I think this is the good seller. Okay, this is an item. That, unfortunately, is going to be one that will probably end up being scrapped, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, 170, 190 pounds.
Just before you make a decision, let me tell you this, Alan. 200 to 300 is the estimation. The scrap value is about £250 worth. I'm going to say, if you could get yourself another 20 quid or something, I wouldn't gamble going to the auction. It's not something that you can polish and cherish and keep. It's something, sadly, that will go in the melting pot.
Thank you, David. So I'm going to put another 20 down on the table, brings us to £210.
You're nearly there. Are you prepared to take away the...
I knew you were going
one?
to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I'm not going to take that one away, but what I'm going to do is put another 10 down on the table. 220 on the table. Have we got a deal?
Yes, I think so.
Alan, you're a star. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.
Thank you. Alan did squeeze me. He did prize an extra £10 out of me, but, well, hey, you know, he was a nice guy, so I'll still earn a little bit.
That's what you're here for after all, Henry. Now for something with a lot of sparkle. Barbara's brought in a diamond and white gold watch and she's about to sit down with Cheryl.
I hope Cheryl's going to be fair. She's going to give me the £200 that I want.
Well, Barbara's got her price, but what's Cheryl thinking?
Very pretty, not particularly in fashion. As girls are liking our watches a bit bigger these days, I find these watches quite hard to sell.
Oh dear. Good luck, Barbara.
Tell me about your watch.
I inherited it from my mother-in-law. When she died, she left it to me.
Now, why have you thought about selling it today?
It's only in a drawer at home, and I think it's about time I sold it.
So you're not sentimental about parting with it?
A little bit.
And have you ever worn it?
No.
No?
Never worn it.
And
No.
did your mother-in-law, did she wear it?
She wore it.
And do you know where she got it from at all?
No idea.
Very, very pretty thing. Probably 1910, 1920s. 9-carat white gold with diamonds here. It's quite Art Nouveau, even probably Edwardian or Art Nouveau time. You can just imagine ladies at a dance with this lovely cocktail watch, as it's referred to in the trade. Very pretty, very nice, but like you, ladies aren't really wearing these anymore. They're all liking these bigger watches.
Yeah.
The fashion is to be a bit chunkier. Unfortunately, we don't often go out, do we, in our ball gowns and cocktail dresses anymore. It's a bit of a dying thing, but still very pretty. What would you do with the money?
I haven't seen my nieces and they're in Los Angeles.
Wow,
I hope to go
how
there
glamorous.
for a visit. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can get you on the way to LA then.
Oh, please.
Let's go. 50, 100.
No.
Okay. How about 150?
No.
No. How about 170? These are really firm shakes of the head, these, aren't they? Okay. 190? No. If I rounded it up, if I took these away, and 200, and I think that would let me earn a little drink and get you
Just another £10?
a little way across the pond. I think that's a fair bid. I think I want to stick at that. Not the easiest of sellers.
No.
So have we got a deal?
Yes, we have.
That's fantastic.
Thank you
You're
very
on your
much.
way to LA.
Thank you.
Have a safe
Thank
trip.
Look what Cheryl gave me, £200.
Well done, Barbara, but don't drop it. Coming up, an item comes in that sends David into a bit of a whirl.
No one has seen an article the same as this before. We don't even know what material that is. The gut instinct of 30 years' experience tells me it's a rare lot.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Ilford in Essex. Our last seller of the day is Maureen.
I bought an old corset bone that was my dad's, and I would like to get in the region of perhaps £500 or so. Any money I get today, we're putting towards a fund to go to Canada next year when it's our 50th wedding anniversary to see our best man.
A little bit out of my depth in what to put down, but we'll see what happens during the deal. I may need a bit of help from David.
Well, you're in luck, Jan, because this item is such an unusual piece, the Duke and auctioneer William Rouse will be watching closely.
Well, would you like to tell me about this interesting item you brought in today?
It belonged to my dad. He used to collect bits and pieces, and my mother said he used to bring in a load of old rubbish. And we found this in her house when she passed away, and I'm surprised she still had it, actually. And it's been in mine for the last 7 years, so...
Well, I think it's very interesting. It is a scrimshaw, which means it's carved all over, and it would have been a corset stay, so it would have been slipped. She would have got her corset on, and it would have been slipped down the front. Most uncomfortable, I should imagine. And it's quite clearly dated here, which is lovely, January 1842.
Now, William, the moment this came in, all our independent valuers, they all ushered round the horseshoe where our experts are looking at it with yourself, and we saw what potentially looks to be a rare and interesting marine object. Now the question here is, what is it made out of? Is it bone? Is it whale? Is it walrus? What's your opinion on this?
Well, I must admit, when I first handled it, I was altogether a bit sceptical of it, and I didn't think it was as fabulous an object as actually I now think it is. I think it is a very good thing. I'm sure that it's old, but the date, the fact that it has a date and all those things that you say on it normally makes the alarm bells ring like crazy, because you just think it must be wrong. But I think this is right, and the lady's had it for a good long time too, and I think the reproduction ones have been made comparatively recently. I don't think there's any reason to doubt that it's old.
I think it's a rarity. I think it should go to auction. But what does our dealer think? Let's see if she's going to tempt our seller.
So, Maureen, now I have to decide what I'm going to put down on the table. So I'm going to fish about here and put some money down and see what I read in your face.
Okay.
Right, that's 50, 100.
No.
A definite shake of the head.
Shake of the head, yes.
150.
No.
Jan did say that she might need the Duke's help. Best get in there, David.
No.
Well, we don't think a lot of that, do we, Maureen?
No, not really.
What we've got here is something which we would say in the trade is highly speculative. I'm not sure if they were ever used as corset stays, but sailors did do them as a token for their loved ones and so forth. And we start off with a 3 to 5 estimate.
Right.
And then from 3 to 5, we've got something like, I don't know, a 4 to 6 estimate. And then we've got like a 6 to 1,000. I think at this stage, I would suggest to you, take your chances in an auction, put a realistic reserve on it, and let's see what comes out of the woodwork. I think this is the real thing, and if you go to auction, you just might crack it.
So now I'm more confused.
Well, Maureen, we've heard what David's had to say, so I'm just going to have a jolly good go at buying it, and you've obviously then got to make up your mind if you want to go further, so hang on a minute.
Okay.
200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500, 550, £600. And then you've got to get, where's my math, 750? I don't know with David.
Well, at £700, we'd have to take off about £105. What expectation did you have when you came through the door with this?
Round about 5 to 6.
Okay. We have got to say to ourselves, can you get more in auction? I think the offer is good, but it is of my opinion that on a gamble it could do better. But none of us know for sure.
No, I appreciate that.
I'm going to leave you with Jan.
Oh dear, David's going to leave you with me.
Yeah, is there any more to come?
Well, I'll go 650, 700.
I like David's opinion.
I think we need David very much.
OK, I'll tell you everything that I know. I've been back to my independent valuers. No one has seen an article the same as this before. We don't even know what material that is. The gut instinct of 30 years' experience tells me it's a rare lot. This seems to have everything in it. It has the sales, the Whaler Association. It has the date, 1842. The question is, can you do better by going to auction? And the answer to that is maybe.
Nobody knows.
Maybe. I'm going to say, at this stage, the general feeling of my group of advisors is they would go to the auction, unless Jan decides to be braver and put it beyond what we think it might fetch in the sale room.
You know what, Maureen, for me, the safety net is that you've had it in your family for 70 years, so I believe this to be right. And at the end of the day, I want you to do the best that you can with it. But I'm going to put you into a bit of a spin, because what I'm going to do is make it 800, and there I absolutely rest my case, and the ball is now in your court. Do we have a deal?
Yes.
We have a handshake?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a possibility, William, that could have been a £1,000 to £2,000 item?
It's always possible, but we'll never know.
At the moment, a deal has been struck at £800, close to £1,000 under the gavel. I have to say, too good to turn down.
Well, very best.
Our dealers have parted with nearly £3,000 of their own hard-earned cash today. But with all that money spent, have they managed to turn themselves a profit? Well, it's all been about confidence. Hoggy's only buy was the tea caddy for £80, and he didn't have high hopes.
I don't know how much it's going to cost to get restored, and I really don't know if I'll make a profit or not on it.
Well, he needn't have worried, as the restorers offered to buy it straight from him. Henry was much more confident about his buys. He paid £160 for the Loli Jar.
I think it's worth £180, £190. That's what I reckon I'll get for it.
Well, you know your stuff, Henry. A buyer picked it up at a fair for just that. What about the goblet and tankard he paid £220 for?
This is the good seller. That, unfortunately, is going to be one that will probably end up being scrapped, which is a bit of a shame.
True to his word, the tankard was melted down, but the goblet went to a Masonic collector. After guidance from the Duke, Jan had the confidence to pay top estimate for the Daguerreotype brooch.
David knows me, and he's quite right. I won't lose it for £20, and I'm going to make it around £250.
Still leaving her plenty to make when she sold it to a collector. And as for the corset stay, Jan's taking it to all the fairs looking for that one special buyer. And she's sure she'll succeed. But our most bullish spender today was Cheryl. Has it paid off for her? Well, her £200 outlay on the watch earned her a 50% markup at a fair. And those gold coins brought in another unexpected windfall.
I'm delighted with that deal.
I bet you are, Cheryl.
We've had a fantastic day today. Lots of atmosphere, a great crowd, lots of buying and selling. I always like to see that on the programme. Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.